So Matt, the RJC was instrumental in Trump's win. You've got a very good working relationship with the president. You were part of what you've called him the most pro-Israel president in the history of the United States. So talk about the accomplishments, the pro-Israel, everything he's done that you're proud of.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for including me on this distinguished panel. But more importantly, thank you for all that you do on behalf of the Jewish people of Florida, the Jewish people in this country, and your support for Israel, your support to combat anti-Semitism, education, all the things that the Jewish community cares about. There is no more committed leader in the United States Senate than you, and you have a terrific team with Jackie and Stu, and it's just great to work with them and your team, and thank you for all you do.
They make me look like I know what I'm doing.
There is no question that Donald Trump, and it's interesting, by the way, the dichotomy, just to pick up on one point that Randy had made in his remarks, that we are actually having a debate in our party now about moving away from the traditional and historic anchor of being pro-Israel as a Republican. I got my start in politics working for Ronald Reagan and Jack Kemp. Growing up and getting started in politics, support for Israel was always a cornerstone of the Republican Party. And it's been that way ever since, except now we are seeing voices start to percolate up that are saying that Israel is not a strategic asset, Israel is a strategic liability. It's interesting that the one person who is most important in that debate, President Trump, is the most pro-Israel president in history. He has put a marker down, and I have been fortunate to work with President Reagan, first President Bush, second President Bush, President Trump, first term and second term. There's been nobody in my professional career who has been more committed to ensuring that Israel has the unwavering support of the United States. And we saw it throughout his first term with the recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital, moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which he did, by the way, to show the courage he has and the commitment that this president has. He did it against the advice of his national security advisor, his Secretary of State, his Secretary of Defense, his Director of Central Intelligence, and his other senior members of the team internally, and he overruled them because he had the strength of his convictions to know he was right. I mention all of that because it allowed us to get to the point where we were able to then ultimately get the Abraham Accords. Once our allies in the region knew that this president stood by his friends and allies and did what he said he was going to do, it gave them the trust and confidence to sign on and take the risks for peace that we saw in the Abraham Accords. And I mention that because that's now the next building block to how do we expand the Abraham Accords. The reason that President Trump was able to get the historic agreement done and to bring in the Qataris and the Turks and the Emiratis and the Saudis and the Egyptians and the Jordanians and all the people that came together to help end the horrific war in Gaza and get our hostages back home is because he had the respect and admiration from all of those leaders of those countries after seeing what he had done for the Abraham Accords. And by the way, I would also posit that none of that would have happened had he not gone and participated with Israel in dismantling and eradicating the Iran nuclear threat. All of that, the Middle East is a place where strength is recognized, and that is the coin of the realm. And they knew that Donald Trump says what he means and means what he says, and it allowed him to get to this point where we have unbelievable opportunities ahead in terms of expanding the Abraham Accord, normalization of relations with Saudi Arabia, and just transforming the Middle East in a very, very positive way. So, yeah, he's been terrific, and it all builds on itself and feeds on itself.